How can I get people to like me more?
What do you mean more?
That's not funny.
It's not supposed to be.
Mom?
Oh, let's get out of here.
Alright, so I got a few different letters from subscribers. And remember, by the way, to join our Dan O'Connor YouTube community. It's a new feature on YouTube. And you can join us with a live discussion and get your questions answered in real time once a month right here on YouTube. If you have not done so, check that out. I have put together this list, and I hope that it helps you a lot, especially if you are a younger person and maybe it's your first job, or you're in a new school and you want to make friends. Are you ready? This is your secret 10-step plan, guaranteed to get your coworkers to like you. You ready? Number 1, talk about other people. Here's what that really means. We all have opportunities to lend our voice to someone's reputation, to what others perceive them to be. You know, we will all find ourselves in situations where somebody's brought up in a conversation who's not present in that conversation. You know what I mean? Whether it's at school, at work, or at home, people will be talking about somebody, and you will have the opportunity to lend your voice. Always take that opportunity if you can and say something positive about the person who is not there. Now remember, study after study shows that if you talk to someone about how much you like them, you know, if I were to say to you, wow, you have such a great sense of style, I really like the way you can mix and match colors like that. If I were to say that to you, you might accept it and think, oh, that's nice. Studies show you will not like me anymore. You will, however, like me more if I say that about someone else who's not here. So I want to take advantage of those opportunities. And remember that you want to be as specific as you possibly can. When you, for example, are saying, you know, oh, I really like her as a manager. I think she's a great manager. That means nothing. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean anything. So instead, why do you think somebody's a great manager? Or why would you think somebody is cool or fun to be around? Or why do you think they're a nice person? You know, so I might say something like, I really like Marsha's management style. I think that she treats her employees with a lot of compassion and patience. Or you could say something like, if you thought someone was really cool, I really like the way, like I just said, I really like the way they can combine colors and, you know, make an outfit that I never would think of. They are a really fantastic dresser from what I've seen. Or if I just thought someone was a nice person, instead of saying, I think they're a nice person, if you can be more specific, you know, and say, I think they're a really compassionate person. I've seen them treat people that they didn't know with more compassion than some of us treat people that we purportedly love. So when I can say something about somebody else that's specific, who's not in the room, that, studies have shown, will make people who hear it like me more. Number 2, take someone's side. We all know what it's like to be the odd man out, or to be singled out and have no support. If you can take advantage of an opportunity, let's say that, you know, you're at work and somebody's talking about Marsha. You know, Marsha, she thinks she's so great. You know, she always has the right clothes. She's dating George Glass, you know, all that great stuff. And so people are starting to, let's say, what do you call it? Throw shade? Is that what they call it these days? And you have the opportunity to say something like, I haven't noticed that. In fact, I've noticed them be really kind and compassionate to people when they needed it. That's all I've seen. You know, when you can take somebody's side when they are not around. Now, by the way, you never tell them, because it's not really about that person. You know, if you want that person to like you more, especially don't mention it to them, because eventually they will find out what you said. If they don't, well, then everyone else who heard you say it will like you more because you said it. But if you make it a pattern of doing that, you know, taking somebody's side when they're being ganged up on, even when they're not around, or let's say that they are around, you know, and they're asked, you know, somebody took the Hamburglar came back and stole the sandwich out of the refrigerator, and they're trying to figure out who did it, and everybody's, you know, picking on that Marsha. And you say, hey, I happened to see Marsha bring her own sandwich into work today. She did not take anybody's sandwich. I can vouch for that. If you can do that, you know, always being able to stand up for somebody with integrity and say, hey, I'm going to take their side when they need it, because they need it, even if they don't know they need it, and I can provide it, I will do that. That will get people to like you. Number 3, tell a secret. All right, when you look at the people with whom you share bonds, that is part of a natural bonding process. You share secrets. So if you wanted to expedite that process a little bit and or encourage the process a little bit, tell people secrets. I recommend when you are telling somebody a secret with the intention of forming a bond with them or creating a relationship with them, do something like this. See what they are interested in, because that's, by the way, there are a couple of principles that always apply that I'm assuming if you are a Dan O'Connor Training subscriber or member, One of them is, if I want to be friends with someone or form a relationship with somebody, I have to be interested in them. If I have a selfish reason for wanting you to be my friend, which happens, not judging, if that is the case, I must still begin by being interested in you and paying attention to you and seeing what kind of is making you tick. Once I've done that, I can do things like, let's say I'm walking to work and I walk past the Route 66 hemp store and I think, John likes hemp hoodies. I know that. And he was just talking about how he needs to get a new one because there's a bunch of holes in the one that he has. So I'm looking at the store, I'm thinking this, and I recognize, by the way, pay attention as you walk to work or walk anyplace else. A lot of people do not pay attention in life and they miss opportunities like this. So I see, oh, hemp hoodies are on sale here, 40% off till Friday. Now I can tell John that secret that would benefit him, Hey, John, if you're interested, I was going by Route 66 hemp store today and noticed that they have hoodies on sale, 40% off until Friday. Thought I'd let you know. That's a secret now that I shared with him that's going to benefit him, and he would appreciate that, and he would think, you actually know that that's something I would be interested in getting. All right. So pay attention to what people, like and don't like and makes them tick and are interested in, and tell them secrets about those things. If you can share a secret that also benefits the other person, perfect. They will like you more. Number 4, make a confession. Sometimes people find it difficult to be our friend or to bond with us because they just don't see us as approachable or that they share anything with us, So how could I or would I want to be friends with that person? We don't have anything in common, people will say a lot. When you can share something that you are ashamed of, shame is something almost everyone can relate to, except of course narcissists. So don't do this with a narcissist. Or not necessarily shame, but let's say that there's a vulnerability that you have. We can all relate to people when they reveal one of their vulnerabilities to us. One of the things that sticks in my mind is when I was asked to do a keynote for the European Union of the Future of the Internet or something like that. And I remember saying to the people that I was with, what? Why do they want me to speak? And I got really nervous and I said, I think if I stood up in front of, all of these Europeans that never even been to Europe and started telling them what my ideas were on communication and how it relates to the internet and things like that, I would just feel like such a fraud, with all of the people that they had to choose from. And then I'm getting up there and telling them what I think. I would just be so I would be thinking the whole time, I hope that I'm not exposed for really not being of the caliber that they think I am. And for some reason, when I was telling people about that, they could all relate to it because they were speakers and they were all my best friends after that. It's just the truth, but that's one of my vulnerabilities, in case you didn't know it. Anytime I'm asked to speak at an event or to do some training, I always have this series of nightmares. It's always the same before I do any event, that people are getting up and they're throwing literally rotten tomatoes at me, and I can't hold anybody's attention, and they're all walking out of the room, because I do feel that way, that why would anybody want to hear what I have to say? And a lot of us feel that way in some way or another, or in whatever area. I hope people don't see me as the crappy mom that I am, or the bad dad that I am. I hope that I can get at least my children to think that I'm a decent parent. Confessing something to other people that's not like, do you want me to tell you where I hid the murder weapon? Not those types of confessions. Keep those to yourselves. But the ones that are just sharing a human vulnerability that you have, a human fear that you have, of not being loved or accepted or whatever it may be. When you can share one of those, for example, I remember when I had the opportunity, I was telling some people, they were talking about eating lunch at school, and they were saying something like, Dan, I never see you in the lunchroom. Where do you eat lunch? I normally eat it by myself behind big trash cans in the lobby when you first come in. It's private there. People leave me alone. Yeah. Got you, didn't I? That's where I used to eat lunch. Those were the good old days. Now I can't find a dumpster to eat behind, but if I could, I might still be behind that dumpster. What did you used to do at the playground? I used to play the speak and spell by myself on the stairs until my dad drove by and saw that and was so sad he intervened. Confessing something to other people that's, not like, do you want me to tell you where I hid the murder weapon? Not those types of confessions. Keep those to yourselves. But the ones that are just sharing a human vulnerability that you have, a human fear that you have, of not being loved or accepted or whatever it may be. When you can share one of those, people generally relate to that and like you more. And you'll make more friends. And number 5, ask a favor. When you ask someone a favor, remember that actually creates a bond with them more than when you do them a favor. So if you are going around doing everybody favors, stop doing that. Stop going around trying to ingratiate yourself with people by doing things for them if you are doing that, because that's a big mistake. Now let's say that naturally doing things for other people makes you happy. It's something that you like. That's too bad. It makes you look like you are a servant. So you don't want to place yourself in the position of, I'm a servant and I'm subservient to all of you here, so just ask me to do things, or I'll ask you if I can do any things, and you can all treat me like a dog. Don't do that. But if you can, ask somebody to do a favor for you. Now this is different from asking somebody to give you some of their resources. If you're asking somebody for their time or their money too often, you're going to be seen as needy. Somebody who's needy is not attractive. What we're really talking about here is called the Ben Franklin effect. And the Ben Franklin effect is when we do a favor for somebody, we tend to justify doing that favor by thinking to ourselves or saying to ourselves, I like them. They deserve it. Rather than I'm a fool. I'm wasting my time. I'm being taken advantage of. When we do someone a favor in good faith. Even if it's something like when you go to buy a car, sometimes the car salesperson will say, hey, could you do me a favor? Could you grab the Coke that's right out there? Could you grab a pen? Could you do this? They'll ask you a favor because when you do it for them, the Ben Franklin effect states, and it is true, makes you think to yourself, well, I like them. I'll do that. And the more often people will think, I like them, the more likely they will be to buy a car from them, which is why they do that in the car lot. But while you're at work or while you're at home or while you're at school, if you can get people to do you little favors, they will justify doing that favor for you because they like you. You deserve that. Ask people to do them and you will make more friends. To get notified when part 2, along with other awesome videos come out, make sure to do 3 things. You ready? Number 1, subscribe to this channel. Number 2, click the button below to go over to DanO'ConnorTraining.com and get your free communication starter kit. You're going to love that. Before you come back here and watch some more of these great videos. So for everybody here at Dan O'Connor Training, this is Dan O'Connor reminding you to do whatever you do with compassion and kindness.